Thank you LEGO for sending this set for review. Tudor Corner is the next building of the LEGO Icons Modular Buildings Collection, a very anticipated yearly release that, contrary to the previous two, seems to be a major hit, judging by the overall reactions I've been reading online. On top of that, I'll also review the gift with purchase set Corner Kiosk by the end of the video, a little product that people may get while supplies last when buying Tudor Corner January 1st. With that said, I'll quickly go over the minifigure selection of this particular set that features 7 characters, or 8 if you count the mannequin featured on the display of the haberdashery. Speaking of, there's the haberdashery owner with fitting clothing, a civilian that on the other hand is equipped for the unpredictable British weather, the inn owner and cook, the clockmaker, the chimney sweeper with a surprising print for the legs and a hood element I'm not too familiar with, and the animal lover lady that lives upstairs and owns a cargo bike that's perfect to carry her cats around. Now, the Tudor Corner, as the name implies, is a corner building, meaning that it's meant to connect with other modular buildings at a corner, as it does feature the mandatory connection points on adjacent sides rather than opposing sides, like last year's Natural History Museum, for instance. The small stairs on this side were made with the Natural History Museum in mind to provide some clearance in order to avoid it being in direct contact with another building, as is usually the case with museums. But of course, you're free to place whichever building you feel like in there, as it will fit nicely with pretty much anything on any of these sides. I like how you can even use a pair of corner buildings to create a bit of an alley in case you display these in a row. There's a clear distinction between floors if we are looking at it like this, with the inn on the ground level, the clockmaker's workshop on the first floor, and the apartment on the last floor. But turning the model facing this way, we can see this thinner building that matches in style from top to bottom, where the highlight lies on this sign for the haberdashery, which is a printed tile by the way, one of many that I'll be able to show throughout the whole build, no stickers used. Now, even though the haberdashery building is its own thing in architectural style and colors used, the same cannot be said for the building on the left, as each of the floors has its own style and color combos, and yet it all somehow flows together really nicely. The mostly dark green and black accents of the yin, the nougat shades of the clockmaker's workshop, and the timber frame Tudor styled second floor with the black on white walls. My only nitpick here is that it doesn't make too much sense to me how this window is styled like this, but the pair of windows facing this way is a completely different style. I guess that for consistency's sake, I would have liked both be styled the same way, with my favorite design actually being this one. At the ground floor, the inn is the standout feature for sure, for many reasons. Dark green as the main color looks very charming, and I honestly could have lived without these flower arrangements here so we could see it better. Removing them gives us room to better see black droid legs being used upside down for detailing, which was a very cool nice part usage. Still within Star Wars, on this balcony detail of sorts, golden droid legs were also used for railings, and this whole section coming out of the main building at an angle sure makes the otherwise square look of the old set stand out in a very nice way. This corner built at an angle was a cool building technique and features 2 extra printed tiles, one for the menu and another for the daily special. Above the inn's entrance door, another print with establishment name, beautifully decorated with golden accents, with my favorite bits being the Lego goats, of course. The back corner is as plain as you can get them with modular buildings, so no surprises there. Trash bin with a rotten fish the cat is trying to get, and the back entrance for the inn. To this side, there's these stairs that lead to the clockmaker's workshop, and while I've talked plenty about this floor, I haven't mentioned the clock yet, a set of 2 printed 3x3 tiles that look really good in my opinion. There's a bunch of flower decorations here and there, and my absolute favorite detail here is the use of this botanical element, usually seen in green in other sets, but recolored black here for the gutter elbow, which I thought was brilliant. The last floor is instantly recognizable as Tudor style, with those timber frame structures that were amazing to put together. Same with the roofs, but I'll discuss it a bit more when I get to the building experience part of the review. As all modular buildings do, the Tudor Corner splits into the several floors it has for easier access to its interior that set, as is usually the case with modular buildings, is stacked with details. And even though this is called an inn, it totally has a pub vibe to it. LEGO could never advertise it as such, so the workaround needs to be praised. There's a small sitting area by the window, a clock already hinting at the clockmaker's shop above, and the counter with all of the essentials an inn needs, with coffee machine, some drinks and some nice British breakfast there. This corner leads to both the back door for the inn and the bathroom you can hardly reach, but made accessible by removing the stairs outside, which I found really clever. The kitchen where the cook works can also be accessed in an easier manner by removing this wall section, revealing all of the essentials needed to perform cooking tasks, scaled down to the bare minimum to make the most out of this small 4x8 studs wide area. Putting the wall back in places the hats on display where they belong, the haberdashery. The area isn't very large either, but once again captures the main aspects you'd find in such a place, like a few more hats, rolls of fabric everywhere, a few umbrellas, and a mannequin displaying a nice suit. The floor above is entirely dedicated to the clockmaker's place, and I love it. I feel it could have used an extra desk here in the middle with some more work tools or clocks, as it somehow feels a bit empty with this much free space in here, but for the rest of it, which is just clocks of all different shapes and sizes, spread around everywhere, I actually really like it, mostly for the ingenious ways different clocks were made. The work desk with the magnifying glass, spare parts and lamp was also very neat, as is the small table in the corner using a hinge plate as a drawer handle. This door here leads to a small storage room where the clockmaker keeps his old-style vacuum cleaner, while the other doors reveals the stairs that lead to the apartment. Let's just not question the logic of the lady living up there needing to go through a shop to access it. For the living space that this is meant to be, it sure is missing a lot of essentials like a kitchen, a bath or bathroom, but let's not question that either. I'll instead focus on the really good stuff like that couch, the cat tree or the terrariums with bugs inside, making great use of the hollow space those 1x2 transparent bricks have. The bookshelf is nice too, and next to it a new printed tile featuring the Hidden Disabilities Sunflower lanyard, which is a great inclusivity move by LEGO. Next to the cat feeder, some stairs lead up to the roof that is quite plain but features two sets of chimneys for the sweeper to do its thing, which about sums up everything there is to see about the model. Visually speaking, the whole thing looks really good. I can't really say I like it more than the Parisian restaurant or the boutique hotel, which are my favorite modulars in terms of looks, but it is definitely up there. When it comes to the building experience, modular buildings tend to be on the boring side of the spectrum, at least for me, especially on the first few bags to build the foundation tiles of the whole thing. But there were a lot of good moments, building techniques wise, that made me really enjoy this one. On the ground floor, this whole angled section wasn't nearly as impressive as the boutique hotel, but still great if you haven't built that one, as was this corner wall safely secured in there. On the first floor, this window section had a similar technique to that of that corner wall down below, but done differently with round corner window elements for an awesome bay window effect. But the highlight of the entire thing was on the second floor. The way the angles of the timber wall sections were done, with a simple assembly guided with the longer cheese slopes into place, was a technique people will surely steal for their own builds. And the angled roofs, while seemingly simple, must have required a ton of iteration to get all angles right, and still be done in such an easy to build manner, so great job there by the designer. He is featured in the building instructions, as are lots of lore facts connecting parts and elements of this modular building to others of the franchise, which fans will surely appreciate. But for me, what stood out the most was the colorful paper sleeve the instructions came packed in, and not the usual paper envelope. With the price increases LEGO has put in place in 2022, new modular releases like the Boutique Hotel and Jazz Club were priced at $230, with the exception being last year's Natural History Museum that was a half base plate wider and therefore priced accordingly. Tudor Corner, despite having a higher piece count than these two, is still priced at $230, which is great to see, continuing to make modular building some of the best bang for your buck products on LEGO's portfolio. If you've been collecting modular buildings up until now, there's no way you'd skip this one. but if you've never bought one before, this would be an incredible first-time pick for sure. It definitely sits on my top 5 picks of the collection. Purchasing the Tudor Corner when it releases January 1st will get you this free gift with purchase set, the Corner Kiosk, while supplies last, a neat little build that will fit right into your city displays. It comes with 2 minifigures, the vendor and a passerby, and 2 side builds, a display for newspapers, postcards, and a travel guide, featuring what seems to be a Jackstone figure by the beach. Nice little reference there. But my favorite build out of the two is actually this cute gumball machine. The main build is as simple as it can get, featuring a few more newspapers and travel guides on display, nicely colored awning, and completely open from the back. You can better access it by removing the roof section like this, showing the somewhat bare interior. And while most of the decorations seen in this set are printed pieces, there's a total of 6 stickers used for several details. Unlike Shackleton's gift with purchase set that to me felt like it had a tremendous value when paired with the main purchase, this Corner Kiosk, while cool looking, isn't that indispensable to the point of justifying staying up late to purchase it online January 1st, or queuing early morning by a LEGO store to get it. Nice bonus for sure if you do any of those things to get to their corner, but not something I'd actively go out of my way to try and get. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.